Well, well. The wall crawler has a new nightmare, a new suit, a new director, and apparently a very bad case of becoming a little too spider.
6 things we know so far about Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Folks, this is not Spider-Man 4 in the cozy sequel by numbers sense. This feels like a reset, a reinvention, a rebirth. Marvel itself is calling it a brand new chapter. And frankly, that title is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
And for once, the title actually seems accurate. Because everything we know so far suggests that Peter Parker is no longer living the life we left him with in No Way Home. In the original Brand New Day comic storyline, Marvel essentially hit a reset button on Spider-Man's entire life. After the events of One More Day, Peter Parker's marriage to Mary Jane is erased, his secret identity is forgotten by the world, and key elements of his past are rewritten. Harry Osborn is alive again, Aunt May is safe, and Peter is back to struggling financially and living a much simpler, lonelier life. The series deliberately returns Spider-Man to a back-to-basics approach. One hero, one city, one identity, and a renewed focus on street-level crime and personal hardship. Relationships are fractured, memories are altered, and Peter exists in a world that feels familiar, but fundamentally isn't. If the film Spider-Man Brand New Day is drawing heavily from this storyline, and the evidence suggests it might, then we could be looking at a narrative where Peter isn't just isolated, but living in a reality that has been subtly rewritten around him. The emotional tension wouldn't just come from being forgotten, but from the lingering sense that something is missing, especially with Mary Jane, whose comic counterpart exists in a strange, almost metaphysical disconnect from Peter. That opens the door to something far more layered than a typical superhero plot. A story about identity, memory, and whether Peter can truly move forward in a world that has erased his past. Or if that past is still trying to find its way back to him. All of this is speculation. Let's go to what we do know so far.
6. Plot and setting.
The first big thing we know is the setup, and honestly, it's brutal. Marvel's official trailer write-up says 4 years have passed since No Way Home, and Peter is now an adult living entirely alone, having voluntarily erased himself from the lives and memories of everyone he loves. IMDb's synopsis lines up with that too. Peter is forgotten, isolated, and operating as full-time Spider-Man. That is a much sadder, rougher Peter Parker than the one we've been used to, and that matters tonally. This sounds far more like the classic Parker Luck version of Spider-Man, the one who can save the city and still not make rent. CBR has been leaning hard into that same reading, calling attention to the film's more grounded New York feel. And even when CBR gets speculative, on this point they seem to be reading the room correctly. Peter isn't the bright-eyed kid in over his head anymore. He's the neighborhood Spider-Man after the neighborhood has forgotten his name.
5. Villains confirmed so far.
Now let's separate what is confirmed from what is inferred, because this is where fan discourse starts doing backflips off rooftops. The one villain we can speak about with real confidence is Scorpion. Sony's official cast listing includes Michael Mando, and the trailer coverage from Entertainment Weekly explicitly identifies his return as Scorpion after the long wait since Homecoming. And that, my friends, is delicious. Because Marvel has been sitting on Matt Gargan for years like they had him in a vault under Avengers Tower. Now he's finally here, and he makes perfect sense for a lower-level, meaner Spider-Man story. No multiverse circus, no legacy villain parade, just a nasty, street-level menace with history. Now, here at the Crypt of Knights, we are going much further. Our research points to other villains like Tombstone, who will be played by Marvin Jones III, and William Metzger will be played by Tremel Tillman. Tarantula and Boomerang will also make an appearance, but the casting has not been confirmed. Though we can see each of them in the trailer. We also see the hand, so one of the 5 fingers should be in the movie, if not all 5.
4. Production and style.
This is one of my favorite pieces of the whole puzzle. Brand New Day is directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, officially confirmed by Marvel and Sony, and that is not a small detail. This is the filmmaker behind Shang-Chi, which gave Marvel some of its best hand-to-hand action in years. And the production story gets even more interesting. Multiple reports connected to production say the Jackie Chan stunt team has been involved with the film's action design, which lines up perfectly with the idea that this Spider-Man movie may emphasize practical combat, environment-based choreography, and physicality over pure CGI spectacle. Entertainment Weekly reported Jackie Chan visited the set with his stunt team, and even the production history aggregated elsewhere points to that team coordinating fight sequences.
3. The suit.
The new suit is official, and Marvel teased it months ago before the trailer campaign ramped up. The costume reveal showed a sharper, more classic red and blue look, and coverage of the reveal highlighted raised webbing and a bigger chest spider, which gives the suit a more old-school comic and even slightly Raimi-adjacent texture. Variety also referred to it as a shiny new suit when the first-look materials dropped. And thank the dark gods for that, because after all the nanotech, magic dust, stark gloss, and space-age tailoring, Peter needed a suit that looks like he might actually have to wash it in a sink. This new costume still looks polished, but it feels more tactile, more human, more, I made this because no one else is left. That fits the whole movie's emotional direction beautifully.
2. Heroes and cast confirmed.
Officially confirmed by Sony's cast page, Tom Holland, Zendaya, Sadie Sink, Jacob Batalon, John Bernthal, Tramell Tillman, Michael Mando, and Mark Ruffalo. That is a fascinating lineup. It means Peter's world is not completely disconnected from the larger MCU, it's just being filtered through a rougher, New York-centered lens. Tom Holland is obviously back as Peter. Zendaya and Jacob Batalon are both officially listed as returning, though the memory wipe ending of No Way Home means their actual roles in Peter's life are the question, not their presence in the cast. Meanwhile, John Bernthal's Punisher and Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner/Hulk show up in trailer coverage, and both are especially revealing choices. But since the hand is in the movie, I am pretty sure that Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, will also make a surprise cameo. And then there's Sadie Sink, who remains the film's favorite mystery box. Official sources confirm she's in the movie, but not who she's playing. That mystery alone has fueled 1,000 YouTube thumbnails and at least 9 unnecessary nervous breakdowns across fandom.
1. The shocker. This may be a body horror Spider-Man story.
Here's the one that should absolutely get your attention. Several sources, including IMDb's plot language, Entertainment Weekly's trailer coverage, and CBR's breakdown, all point toward Peter undergoing a dangerous mutation or biological change. IMDb references mounting pressure that triggers a dangerous change. EW explicitly describes mutating Peter Parker, and CBR goes even further, reading the trailer as Peter becoming more spider than man. Now that is the spicy meatball. Because if this movie is not just Spider-Man versus bad guys, but Peter Parker versus what Spider-Man is turning him into, then suddenly this becomes something much weirder and much more exciting. That means the real threat may not just be Scorpion or whatever criminal circus is roaming New York. The real threat may be Peter losing control of his own body, his own instincts, his own humanity. And that would explain the cast choices too. Punisher as the brutal mirror. Hulk as the man who understands transformation better than almost anyone in Marvel. Scorpion as the external monster. Peter as the internal one. If that is the structure, then Brand New Day may be doing something bolder than fans expected, using a street-level Spider-Man movie to sneak in a horror-adjacent identity crisis.
So there you have it. Peter alone, Scorpion confirmed, Cretton bringing the fists, a slick new suit, a loaded cast, and the possibility that our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is heading into full-blown mutation territory. That, ladies and gentlemen, is not just a sequel. That is a gamble. Tell us in the comments, do you want Brand New Day to stay grounded and street level, or do you want this thing to go full spider horror nightmare? Thank you so much for tuning in, and please keep watching The Crypt of Knights.